Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at Nuscale Power. It is time for another update, and we see this descent to lower prices, and we can ask ourselves, is this setup still in play? Has this structure failed? And the way I see it, nothing has really been invalidated. We are still holding well into our area of support. We have only most recently broken the 50% retracement, and our support zone for a wave 2 allows a retracement as low as the 78.6% retracement at $3.8. Nothing has really changed. From a large time frame perspective, we are still tracking the same pattern. We still have an initial 5-wave move to the upside we are tracking, but when we move to a 1 degree smaller time frame, we are starting to see some issues here which are impacting the trust we can carry for this chart. So what am I talking about? Well, of course, it's this momentum increase within what is already quite a substantial extension to lower prices that is starting to shift the overall structure we would be tracking internally in this movement to the downside. And this enables a couple of ideas, a couple of key aspects that we need to consider. Right now, the clarity of this chart has been reduced. The structure and the trust has been certainly degraded since we do not have a clear 5-wave pattern to the downside anymore. We do not know that we would expect a 3-wave correction into the area of resistance and continuation to even lower prices within at least another 5-wave move to the downside. And technically it can still work out, but with this latest extension, we could just as well be looking instead to build an A, B, C pattern internally. This could theoretically still work out within the larger interpretation where this would be a wave A, we would get then a wave B, and a wave C would be extending to lower prices afterwards. But at the same time, I could consider the wave 2 to bottom within the completion of this 3-wave correction. So this enables two aspects. We are more bullish and more bearish at the same time. So we could expect this wave 2 correction to extend to much lower prices much more directly, right? This would be an A, B, C pattern that in the case of the wave C would expect continuation to lower prices, and based on the momentum increasing in these latest weeks, we can even assume that it is the case. It is being suggested to us that this is an extension of this structure, that the bottom wouldn't necessarily come up as soon. Then, at the same time, we are looking to have a 3-wave pattern complete, which could allow the bottom of the wave 2 to form within this pattern, right? We do not need to form a larger correction since we do not have the 5-wave structure to the downside anymore. There is no strong pressure that requires the larger correction to actually form. So we will still be tracking the possibility of an extension, but this will now shift to the orange interpretation as it is no longer necessary. Instead, we will be tracking an A, B, C pattern here in the blue scenario, where for the wave C, we could be looking for an ideal target at the 100% extension of the wave A, that would be around $5.5. Again, it is an ideal target, it doesn't need to get there, but it is a level it is often drawn towards. Now, one key mention within this blue interpretation, it is not necessary for the wave A to have bottomed here. It could have bottomed here, the wave B could have topped here. We could see a larger 5-wave move to the downside in this area, but I do not find this preferable necessarily. Nonetheless, I will be looking either way once we have this wave complete for resistance in such a possibility for a wave 4 in this area and a wave 5 to extend to even lower prices. And of course, there are other scenarios that could be tracked on this chart, but I believe these are the most relevant interpretations to currently be aware of, right? We still have even a potential wave 5 information in this structure, not a preference for me, but it is possible. And we have even the potential completion of this structure within a 5-wave pattern, as we have outlined here within the blue scenario. Now, we move within an even smaller time frame. We have in this area already been tracking the idea of a 5-wave pattern. And here we had a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up, and this would have been our wave 3 to the downside. We would have actually liked to form a more clearly visible wave 4. We would have liked to actually push into the wave 4 resistance area. This is still not the case, but I am quite pleased with the internal structure we have been tracking within this as a wave 3 to the downside. We go on an even smaller time frame. We have identified here an A, B, C pattern. I would still consider this structure is complete, but since we haven't managed to push into the wave 4 resistance area, I am not necessarily convinced that the wave 3 had even bottomed. I am not convinced that this wave 3 couldn't extend even further, and I will show you in a moment how we will be looking out for that scenario, for that possibility. Now, the blue scenario will remain as is. We will be tracking a 3-wave pattern in this area, an ABC structure, and instead, we will be tracking the possibility of an extension within this as a wave 3, within the white interpretation, where instead I would be looking for a 5-wave pattern in this area within one count or the other. And I actually have a couple of options here, as currently, with the developments at play, we have no indication that this wouldn't be an impulse. Yeah, this could work out as a series of 1-2 setups within this area, basically, allowing me to consider this to be the larger wave 3 that could be expected to extend in a pretty strong fashion. The only thing that is a suggestion that maybe this isn't too likely is the fact that we have such a large amount of 1-2 setups. It might make it not so realistic. Yeah, we would need to consider like 4 1-2 setups at least in a larger time frame, and then even here we would either get another 1-2 setup, or we would need to consider all of this to have been a series of 1-2 setups internally. Nonetheless, this does not make the possibility of a direct breakdown, which can be expected to be quite severe, impossible. It's just something to cling on that would tell you that, okay, maybe it's not as likely as you would normally expect, simply because we have the possibility of tracking an impulse in this area. And what instead I would prefer to focus on even is the idea of an ending diagonal within the wave C, where I would expect to build within this wave 3 a 3-wave pattern instead. So I would be tracking an A, B, C structure in this area, and within this wave C I would once again be looking for an ending diagonal to take place. So I would have here a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I would expect the wave 3 itself to still be extending for a couple of reasons actually. So firstly, the pattern would not seem quite complete. We haven't gotten a sufficiently strong extension, we haven't gotten even close to the ideal target, which is the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, around $8.8. We have merely pushed into the 100% extension of the wave 1, and I would very easily see this to be working out as an internal A, B, C pattern, meaning we can look for even an internal ideal target at the 100% extension of the wave A that sits at around $8.9. Now, for a signal that this structure would become less likely, I would actually like to see a break above the previous wave B swing high. This has actually pushed quite deep into the resistance area, so not only is it a break above the previous swing high, but also a break of resistance that would be required to actually shift the probabilities of this structure from extending directly lower. Yeah, we would have quite bullish implications if we get a break above $10.2, and then the next swing high, the top of the wave 2, would be a quite important break at around $10.5. Other than this, the structure seems quite set on extending to lower prices. There is currently no indication that this recovery would be in place, but yeah, we have pushed quite nicely within this wave B into the last level of resistance before getting this substantial rejection that seems to be extending directly lower. Now, one thing we could also be tracking is here a potential trend line for this idea of an extension to lower prices. We can identify that we have, like, what is this? 3 significant touch points, yeah? The beginning of this wave 3, basically. We can move it a bit lower, I suppose. We had here a push within the wave B of the wave 3, and then another one here in the wave B of the internal wave 3 to the downside of this larger wave C, which is once again part of the larger wave 3. In case it's not visible, we can zoom in here, but yeah, we have had a quite nice and perfect touch of this trend line, and breaking this would be maybe an earlier signal that we would see a shift in the overall structure. Now, other than this, I would be extremely cautious. This chart has certainly suffered a severe degradation in its overall pattern. We need to be extremely prepared for the possibility of much lower prices, and nothing that is currently available on this chart is suggesting to me that we would be looking at a bottom to form within the very next move or so, yeah? I generally prefer to wait for evidence in such structures. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and want to support us directly, check out our channel membership. Other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and until then, I wish you a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.